Well, everyone is talking about the latest Balenciaga fashion show, or Pierpaolo Piccioli, their new creative director. The real Balenciaga story is quietly unfolding in a museum in Tuscany. The most important vintage fashion pieces by Cristóbal Balenciaga and Azzedine Alaïa aren't in Paris or in New York. They're in a small city near Florence, Italy, and almost nobody knows. British Vogue calls them the two greatest fashion designers who ever lived. And right now, their rarest pieces are together in one room. Welcome back, or if you're new here, benvenuta. I'm Sofia, this is Florence Fashion Insider, where we explore fashion from my city, from street style to vintage finds, luxury fashion, and today, fashion history. I'll walk you through the legendary worlds of Cristóbal Balenciaga and Azzedine Alaïa, why they still matter to fashion today, and the 3 things about this exhibition that I cannot simply stop thinking about. Bellissimi, andiamo a fare 4 passi al Museo del Tessuto di Prato. Cristóbal Balenciaga was born in a small fishing village in northern Spain in 1895. He taught himself to sew by styling the clothes of wealthy women in his town, and by the time he opened his Paris couture house in 1937, the entire fashion world stopped to take notice. He was obsessed with architecture, with structure, with making clothes that didn't just fit the body, they transformed it. Christian Dior called him the master of us all. He dressed royalty, aristocracy, and the most powerful women of the 20th century. And in 1968, at the height of its fame, he simply closed its doors and walked away. No farewell show, no announcement, just silence. Mysterious, don't you think? Azzedine Alaïa was born in Tunisia and arrived in Paris with almost nothing. He worked in a house, slept in a tiny room, and spent every single spare moment studying pattern cutting at the École des Beaux-Arts. What he built from that beginning is extraordinary. Alaïa became the designer who understood the female body better than anyone ever. He didn't sketch his designs first, he draped, cut, and constructed directly on the body in real time like a sculptor working in fabric. Grace Jones, Naomi Campbell, Tina Turner, they all came to him. Not because he was fashionable, because his clothes made women feel powerful, sensual, and completely themselves. Balenciaga and Alaïa essentially wrote the rule book that every luxury fashion house still follows today. The oversized silhouette that dominates every runway, that's Balenciaga's DNA. The bodycon dress, the sculpted waist, the idea that clothes should celebrate rather than hide the body, that's Alaïa. What made them both revolutionary is that they refused to be trend-driven. They answered to nobody, and in an era of fast fashion and constant content, that kind of singular creative vision feels more radical than ever. The list of designers who cite Balenciaga and Alaïa as their greatest influence reads like a who's who of the modern luxury fashion. Demna Balenciaga spent his entire tenure in conversation with Cristóbal's archive, the exaggerated shoulders, the sculptural volumes, the deliberate rejections of obvious beauty. Alexander McQueen's obsession with structure and the body owes everything to both men. So does Riccardo Tisci. And if you look closely at the work of Olivier Rousteing at Balmain, or even the precision tailoring coming out of Valentino. You can trace the line directly back to those masters. Their influence isn't history, it is the present.
Ci si incontrano nel guarda questo qui è fatto a mano, è di pelle scamosciata, questo è fatto tutto a mano per filo metallico.
The first thing that stopped me was the leather. Both Cristóbal and Alaïa used leather unlike anything else in fashion history. They treated it the way a couturier treats silk. Soft, precise, impossibly detailed. The pieces in this exhibition show a level of craft that you simply cannot appreciate in a photograph. You have to stand in front of them. The way the leather is molded and folded, the way it holds shape, it's breathtaking. The second thing was the colors. Both Balenciaga and Alaïa drew inspiration from cultures far beyond Europe, and you can see it most clearly in the color work. There are pieces here that reference the clean, structured lines of Mandarin colors and wrapped necklines. And the third reason, and honestly the one that moved me the most, is the heritage. Standing in front of these pieces, you understand that fashion passes from one generation of designers to the next. Everything you see on a luxury runway today, every silhouette, every obsession with craft, has a thread that leads back to the rooms like this one. The pieces like these. This is why fashion history matters, and that is why exhibitions like this need to exist.
Sì. Cosa c'è? È un mirtillo, scudo di mirtillo.
Faccio insieme o separato?
Insieme.
7 per favore.
The exhibition. It was cool. It was just quiet. I like when things are paired together so that you could compare and like somehow juxtapose and like also see how Alaïa got some inspiration from Balenciaga. So I think it aimed to show how masters of the craft were able to learn from each other, and this also like made them similar and has them share a certain technicality to their crafts, which is common but at the same time unique. As the Stapleton says, the heart of the exhibition features 25 creations by Azzedine Alaïa that interact with an equal number of garments by the great Cristóbal Balenciaga in a timeless comparison. Introducing the dresses, a selection of original Balenciaga designs dating from 1950 to 1968 from the Balenciaga archives in Paris, is on display for the first time in Italy. If you enjoyed this walkthrough, drop me a heart in the comments, and if you want, let me know whether you enjoy fashion of the past or fashion of today. Tanti bacini, Sofia.